Alright, YouTube, I'm going to do a couple pieces of, I'm doing a shed ramp here. I've seen a lot of videos about them. Depends on what you're putting in the shed and how high your shed is. Mine's pretty high. I got like a 15-inch rise here. So I'm going to be showing you how to assemble this, get your ledger board on. I already have my ledger board on. Mine was kind of weird. It had a 4x4 set back off of a 2x6 up here. So I actually had to put a piece of 1/2-inch plywood under there. I put flashing on it, and then I framed it out with a 2x6 on the bottom, and then I mounted a 2x12 on the front face of it, trimmed the top edge at a 12-degree angle for my slope here. It's also going to help water run off of the edge. I also have to trim part of the door frame here because it's not going to meet up anymore. They had a nice, I guess it would have been a wooden drip edge on the edge of the shed. I'm going to trim it flush with the floor here, and then I'm going to put a piece of metal drip edge on the inside of the trim. Just the same stuff you'd use on a house. Pull this face trim off. I'll cut it back a little bit, and then I'll run that underneath of here, and the drip edge will stick out about here. I've got this dug out for some pavers. I got some paver sand to level it out real good. We're going to be driving a 54-inch John Deere in here, and it's probably going to come in and out every day for my buddy's business needs, so I'm going to overproof this ramp a little bit. You don't have to build yours as serious as mine. I'm going to put 2 concrete footers there with a 4x4 holding up the ledger board as well. Keep the shed from slacking from in and outing a lot. I'm using 2x10s for my stringers or joists. I don't know what you'd consider them at this point. They're not steps, but they're not straight either. And just 5/4 deck boards, typical 6-inchers. So I'm not going to show you guys the whole process. I've seen a lot online with full explanations. I will show you the key points and what it looks like when it's done. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the moment. I'll get back to you when I'm a little bit further along. Alright, YouTube, so this is where we're going to stop for today. We got these little, they're 2.5-inch blocks with a stepped cut on them. They look kind of like this piece right here, except the notch is on the inside. And then they have little feet that stick out into that concrete that I poured after I bracketed them in. I have some 2.5-inch strong tie bolts on the top and some 1.5-inch on the bottom on both sides. So yeah, it's definitely not going anywhere. It's probably got I don't know, 4,000 maybe more pounds of rating. Way more than enough for a 600-pound zero turn. And like I said before, make sure you notch that, and if you notch your board at your slope angle, this all meets up perfectly with your edge here. And then I'll show you how to deal with the drip edge in the next video, or maybe the one after that. We'll see. But yeah, that's where we're at. All right, guys. So this is going to be how you cut your stringers, runners, joists, whatever everyone's calling these things. So mine's at a 12-degree angle here. So to get this cut out of here, you can use a speed square. And how that'll work is you take this pivot point, you line it up, you slide it back till it reads over here 12 degrees, 13, but you get the point, 12. Then you scribe this line. This line will be your 12-degree line. Now I already have a cut on that side. That's 12 degrees from that. I would have to do the other end. You want to do the exact same cut on this side, and you want to measure from the top of the board down to there to get an equal measurement all the way down. So that's 6 feet from top end to top end. And then how you cut that bottom cut, that slice off the bottom. There's a few ways to do it, and the easiest way is if you have a framer square. You grab this puppy, and you lay it on the board. Just like this. And these I recommend cutting slices off until you find where you need to be, unless you want to dig down, but I honestly want to cut it up and keep as much wood above ground as possible here. So you line up your framer square with your outside 12-degree cut, and that will take 12 degrees right off of the bottom, making it flush with the ground. Mine's not flush because I got to dig down or cut more off. The other way, if you don't have a framer square, you can do it with your speed square. You just have to know what you're doing. You can line up a square on the edge if you want, and that will end up being about 12 degrees as long as your cut is proper here. That'll take 12 off the bottom. Or you can I do it here. I think. So the other way to do this would be you'll bring the pivot all the way around until it lines up with 78 degrees, or 80 minus 2 would be 12 on this end. And then you can scribe that line and then continue it out with a straight edge or something. So that's how you do those. I'll come back to you guys when I'm on the next step. Alright guys, so this is where I stopped yesterday before I got rained out. So I threw this board onto the bottom to prevent these ends from racking either direction, twisting, turning, whatever. So that'll get pulled off, and then I'm actually going to take this 2x4 and make like a kick plate on the bottom of this to run across the front, and then I'll be able to pack dirt and stuff back in so that the mowers can get in. We've got blocking supports that are going to go in here staggered across the run. Got our joist hangers in, meeting up with the bottom of our sliced lizard board. So it's all going to work out really nice, honestly, guys. We got all our pavers down. I put sand underneath of them and then just leveled them out. So that wasn't all that bad. You can put them in more permanently if you want. I really didn't think that it was necessary for the front end of this thing, as how serious I have it back here. We got these 4x4s concreted in now. They're really solid. It's added a lot of structural strength to the front end of the shed as well. I put 2x4 blocking back here as well behind these 2x6s, so when I put these 6-inch ledgers through, they made contact with everything. That's pretty much it for now, guys. I'll come back to you whenever we got that kick plate on and more of the deck boards on. Alright guys, so this is where we're at. I added a kick plate to the front, 2x4. I skimmed the top of it at 12 degrees, along with every other angle on this thing. 12 degrees right there where the runners meet up with the ledger board. I skimmed the top of the ledger board at 12 degrees too. My whole slope is 12 degrees down this thing. The John Deere we have can do 13 degrees of slope for clearance, so I was a little shy of it. We got rocks in front here to just kind of help with drainage, and then I'm going to take this grass that I got rolled up, and I'm literally just going to roll it back out like sod once I get these deck boards fastened the rest of the way down. We've got blocking underneath there, and then I put some extra 2x4 braces up on the front just to kind of keep the front together. That's pretty much it. I've been strapping them down with 2.5 and 3.5 inch screws. I've been putting 3.5s on the ends. Also pilot your holes when you're close to the edge, or run your drill in reverse with your screw first to allow it to pilot. And I'll show you here on the end. I get a little start. This just helps you so you don't split your wood. Get it started here. Give me 1 second. Alright, so let's see here. Can focus. All right. So I get it down a little bit. You heard the crack happen. Now just run it in reverse and push. And that'll prevent your board from cracking on the edge whenever you don't have a whole lot of meat left on the wood. You could pilot it if you want with a drill. I just don't feel like getting my drill bit out for the couple screws that I really needed to do that to on the ends. So I've just been kind of pushing them like that. Same thing where I drilled into the ledger board up here on this cut angle. I kind of shot these sideways, so I didn't want this lip splitting at all. So I piloted them. That's pretty much it for now. Yeah, my blocking could have been better there. You can cement them in if you want with 4x4s on the corner posts. There's a number of ways you can anchor the front down, but I'm pretty sturdy, honestly. I don't feel like this is going anywhere, so I'm good with it. Alright guys, I'll show you when it's done. Alright guys, so this is pretty much done. I got my quote-unquote sod placed in here, just a strip that I pulled from back there. I got topsoil around the front of it. I tamped all of this down really good. It's really solid. I got all my deck boards screwed in the rest of the way. What else here? Gap your boards. I used that chisel to gap them. If you don't gap them, water's going to sit in this crack where they're butted up against each other, and then the boards will swell. They won't shrink. And then you'll have popping boards and all kinds of other fun stuff. So gap them. It's better off anyway. It gives the zero turn or your lawnmower or whatever you're pushing in here some traction if the boards are wet. Just something to grip onto in between. Other than that, we got the drip edge that I'm working on. I'm not going to show you that finished, but this is the gist of what's going on. I cut the door base here so that where we meet up here on the inside is flush. I don't like that hump that I see people do. I did a 12-degree cut here, 12-degree cut down there on the side, 12 degrees off of the ledger board, 12-degree off the top of that 2x4. That's the kick plate for that. So everything had 12-degree cuts to end up lining this up perfectly. And then I had to cut the bottom of the door because they had a wood drip edge on it. So now it's flush with the base there. And my solution, I'm sure there's other solutions, but this was the easiest one for me, was to go get some drip edge for roofing and just a pair of snips and kind of fashion this up. So this corner I cut in real nice and folded up. Had to shorten this section here so that it wouldn't mess with the hinge. And as long as you go to about there, you'll still hit, if you have a bumper, you'll still hit the bumper there. I got to install one on that side so that it's going to be the same thing over there. I left a little bit of overhang so I can figure out how to fashion this up. I want these to overlap somehow, so I'm going to figure that out probably tomorrow. I got to go home and grab some stuff, but make sure you caulk this in, pull this board back and pull these nails on the bottom if there are any. And then make sure when you get your bead of silicone in here, you get it in this groove nice and good all the way down the, I think this is called T11 or T111, so that you don't get any water leaking down on the inside. I don't want to see any rot in here. This is a level surface, so I don't want water pooling and ending up on our plywood here. It will rot it out eventually. So yeah, that's what you're going to do with a drip edge if that's what you want to do. There's other things I'm sure you can do, but you do want to protect this stuff because it's OSB, you know, and I sliced the bottom so it's exposed. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for the ramp. It looks pretty good. Turned out really nice. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope it helped.